If you could have a drink with anyone in the theater world, who would it be? I'm Anthony Caporale, and I'm running through my list. Each week, I'll sit down with cast members, bartenders, and personalities from New York's theater district and get a behind-the-scenes look at what it's like to live, work, and play on Broadway. Come have a drink with us on Broadway Bartender. Welcome to Broadway Bartender. My name is Anthony Caporale, and we are here, as always, at New World Stages in the heart of Manhattan's theater district, home to my show, The Imbible, A Spirited History of Drinking. And this week, we're going to open with a moonshine drink that I created in honor of our special guest. And we're going to start with a mixing tin, then I'm going to put some ice in, and then we're going to use about 1.5 ounces of moonshine per drink, so that's 3 ounces total for the double batch that I'm making. And then I'm going to put about 1/2 ounce of simple syrup per drink, which is 1 ounce in this double batch, and the juice of fresh lemons. So I want 1 full lemon per drink, and so I'm going to do 2 into the tin. And as always, when I'm using fresh citrus, I'm going to take the last half of the lemon, what we call a hull, and I'm going to drop it into the tin so that the alcohol can absorb all of the essential oils from the skin, which is where really most of the lemon flavor comes from. You can see those oils just puffing up around me, and you can actually see them all on the skin of that lemon. I'll pop that right in there. And then I want to shake this up really good so I chill and dilute the drink and also allow those oils to be dissolved by the moonshine. So if you're paying attention, it's probably occurred to you this is really nothing more than fresh lemonade with moonshine in it. And that's exactly what it is. Really, really old school drink from the American South. They've been drinking this for a long time. Really refreshing and beautiful, coming back into fashion now with all of the new moonshines and white whiskeys that are available on the market. And I'm going to just strain this into a couple of mason jars with fresh ice, and then garnish it with a fresh lemon. And this, again, is a drink that I call the Tug Fork for our special guest, CALEB DAMSCHRODER. How are you, my friend?
Good, how are you, Anthony?
Good, good. Cheers.
Cheers.
Welcome to Broadway Bartender.
Thanks for having me. Woo! That's
nice,
delicious.
Nice and tart. That'll get you up in the morning, huh?
And put you to sleep at night.
And put you to sleep at night. So, why did I pick a drink from the American Southeast?
Well, I am working on a musical about the Hatfields and the McCoys.
Okay, great. So you got a lot of titles after your name. Actor, composer, lyricist, probably a bunch of other stuff. So tell me about this musical.
Sure. I was watching an episode of How the States Got Their Lines, and they were talking about the border between Kentucky and West Virginia. And then they were talking about the Hatfields and the McCoys and the family feud, historical family feud that went along with them. And I thought that might make a really interesting musical.
Yeah, I think it would.
With moonshine making a reoccurrence, as well as like bluegrass music and banjos and things. And so I started working on a musical, and I brought a book writer on board who thought it might be interesting to tell the story from the perspective of the women, because so many of the accounts that we have of this story are all from the male perspective, and all these women existed, but they don't really exist on the history page more than just a name and like who they were. So we've decided to come into this story from what it would mean to be a woman in like this time post-Civil War on the border of Kentucky and West Virginia.
Wow, so what's the perspective they're bringing? Like how it affects their lives specifically as women, or like what's the difference in voice from what we normally hear?
All the main characters are women,
okay.
And so everything is told through their perspective and what it means to be a woman at that time. And also what we're trying to create with this story specifically is that the women kind of held all the power and the men got all the glory, and the women's were the one that were keeping the lid on the pot, you know, to not let everything explode, as the men were the ones that wanted to do all the exploding and whatnot.
Really?
Yeah.
So how much of what the average person knows about this story is historically based, is accurate?
Sure. I mean, the feud itself is historically based, as well as the characters and the actual events that go on throughout the musical. And the characters themselves are all historical characters in relationships to each other. And because there isn't a lot written about the women. We kind of have some artistic license in being able to add our own flair and our own take on the story. So we're blessed with them kind of being erased from history, and hopefully we can bring them to the forefront.
Were you able to find some good historical documentation on the women that were involved?
Oh my goodness, yes. There's a lot of stuff that you can find online now, and there's a lot of documents like from the libraries and things down in that area, as well as many different accounts in autobiographies and things. And the nice thing is at that time nobody really read or wrote like around that area, so everything is oral. So even a lot of the books that I've read contradict themselves, which gives us plenty of artistic freedom as well, and which path we want to take.
Why did this feud become so iconic? I mean, what was it about this particular two-family thing?
I think it kind of all stemmed from the Civil War. We were a country at war, and we were on a border of that part of the United States, and some of the people in that family fought for the Confederacy, and some fought for the Union. And so the feud itself, I think the deepest roots are an extension of that, because the Civil War had just ended, like when the largest part of this family feud was taking place. But the actual incident as to how the family feud began is still kind of something that is, they say it began over a pig.
Right, that's what I've always heard.
Yeah, but I mean, some say it began over pigs, some say it began over other things. So it's just kind of hearsay, I guess, as to what the original reason was. And a lot of our story rotates around Rosanna McCoy falling in love with John Hatfield, which is historical as well, and their relationship. So it's kind of, that's where the dividing line of our story takes place.
So, I mean, clearly it seems like there are some analogies to like a Romeo and Juliet kind of thing.
And Rosanna and Johns, an R and a J, although we're specifically trying to write away a little bit from that, so it's not just an Appalachian Romeo and Juliet.
Right.
And so that's where our take on the women comes into play. The men sing plenty in the show, but they all kind of sing as the ensemble, and when it branches into actual songs for just main characters, it's only women that are singing like those songs.
So it sounds like this particular story is emblematic of a lot of common themes that resonate throughout history, including like all the way back to Romeo and Juliet, which obviously predates even Shakespeare's telling of that story. But even to the point of allowing sort of America to view itself during the Civil War through the eyes of these.
It still exists today. And like our main theme is about like love and who do you choose, and family or a lover or loyalty. And how do you remain loyal to your family while remaining loyal to yourself, while remaining loyal to a lover and whatnot.
So am I reading too much into it to see that, I mean, in my mind, it would seem that this is particularly relevant in light of the current political climate where people take politics that I think the average person would, you would think at first blush that you would be a little bit removed, but they take them very, very personally.
Certainly.
To the point where interpersonal relationships are sometimes violently affected by political allegiances.
Absolutely. I mean, we started writing this piece before this most recent election, but even like in families like with this election, like some families like went one way and some went the other way, and it's a very hot issue, and it's still like resonates today.
I was actually just talking to a friend who was telling me that they are no longer speaking to a cousin over political beliefs now. So is it something that you think is particularly American, or do you think it kind of goes beyond that to just human nature?
I think it goes to human nature at large. I mean, I don't think that that's necessarily something that's maybe right now in politics in America it's something, but I mean the Middle East and religion and things, I mean that's still a dividing line, as other things around the world and in different countries. So I'd like to think it's a universal theme all the way around the world, and perhaps in America right now it's political, but I think it's a timely story and one that resonates quite.
I think it's fascinating that, I mean, I've always been, fascinated by the whole, our tendency as human beings to brand ourselves, whether it's like, I'm a Mets fan, you're a Yankees fan, or I'm a Republican and you're a Democrat. I think it's almost, in addition to like food, shelter, and reproduction, I think it's probably the fourth most driving goal that we have. And people will die for their tribe. They want to be part of a tribe, even if it's in name only. And this seems to just be just a really distilled. Wow, did I say a distilled version? Thank you. I didn't even version of that sort of drive and that tendency in humanity.
Sure, and that's what we're trying to play with is loyalty. I mean, how do you stay loyal to yourself with these beliefs and these labels that you want to put on yourself, and how do you stay loyal and stay a family unit, in the midst of all of that.
And so the women's perspective now, because obviously when you take this thing to its logical conclusion, whether it's global warfare or these local feuds, the logical conclusion is often very destructive. If not to both parties, at least to one party is the goal. Right. You said the women are kind of keeping a lid on it. Are they presenting that sort of hey, we all kind of need to figure out how to make this thing work if we all want to move forward perspective, or
we have,
or they become just as partisan as the men? It
depends. I mean, it's a question to ask ourselves, I guess. Like in this show particularly, we have the women moving about in the trees, having secret meetings in the woods, and discussing issues that they're discussing at home, but coming together to be able to kind of put the kibosh on things before they begin. But then as the story progresses, there's like a crucial moment in the story where some of the women have to decide that their loyalty is going to lie more with their family than particularly with the truce of like one of the women of the other families, and then things progress. And I don't want to give too much away.
No, but that's
so the women
from the Hatfields and the McCoys are meeting each other.
Oh yeah.
Wow. I mean, so you got Romeo and Juliet. It almost seems like there's almost like a little Lysistrata in there too, where it's like the women are like, lobbying for peace at any cost. And this is fascinating. Okay, so tell me more about it. Where can I see it? When? What's the deal? Tell me about it.
Now, we are going to be part of the Pitch, which is a New Works festival up at the Finger Lakes Musical Theater Festival.
Oh, cool.
At the end of July.
Oh, so you can get some good wine up there too.
Yeah, oh my goodness. They have great wineries up there.
That's awesome.
Right? We'll be up there for a week. And in that series, you actually pitch your show. The writers actually perform a 1-hour segment of the show for an audience as if they're pitching it, and then you get feedback, and you do it 3 different nights with 3 different audiences, and continue to develop themes and ask questions and really kind of fine-tune the piece. So that's where we are right now with that.
So did you did what now on this?
I wrote the music and the lyrics.
And the lyrics, and you said you brought in a book writer.
Yeah.
And are you going to be in the piece as well? Or?
When up in the Finger Lakes, the writers have to present the piece, so I will be there. However, in the grand scheme of the piece, I like to wear a writer hat and then take that off and wear an actor hat, and I don't really like the two to mix, at least not for me.
Well, this sounds like a fascinating piece, literally with themes that reverberate as far back as we probably have been dramatizing things, right up until stuff that was in the papers like yesterday. I mean, really, really great subject matter, and I'm fascinated to see it. So good luck with that.
Thanks so much.
You have some other stuff going on too. Tell me about some other things.
Please. Yeah. I have another piece that I'm working on that I wrote music and lyrics for as well. It is an adaptation of a Brian Friel play called Molly Sweeney, and for legal reasons, the musical is called Molly Sweeney as well. It's the play itself is an Irish play, and it's about a woman who has been blind her whole life, and those around her convince her that she's missing out by not being able to see, and so she opts to have this surgery to restore her sight, and then the world as it is isn't nearly as beautiful as the world that she can no longer return to. And so we've reset it in New England rather than Ireland, and we were part of the New Works Festival out at Bay Street Theater in Sag Harbor this past spring. And now we're back in rewrite land.
You like the grand themes. That's fantastic.
I just look for things, and when something seems interesting to me, I try to jump in and go for it.
So it would seem to me that this is fertile ground for a composer, because the play is about visual experience.
Sure. Oh yeah.
And you're translating this to music.
Oh yeah.
Right?
It's great.
How did you go about that? What was that like?
I mean, it's really a fascinating subject, and to have one of the main senses like sight not be part of it for a main character, and then have like music be such a thing. What I've really enjoyed, particularly as a composer, is at one point she sees the sunrise for the very first time, and just being able to write music for someone experiencing that for the first time is something that it was so thrilling to me, and I think it plays quite well, and hopefully it'll be thrilling for the audience too when they get to see a production.
Wow, it sounds like another great one that I can't wait to see. So what's going on with that? Where's the
rewrite land, as you do. You do a reading, and then you rewrite, and then you continue to push it along.
Now, you just did a reading.
Yes.
At
Bay Street Theater in Sag Harbor.
Which is, I mean, one of the top theaters in the area.
Oh God,
we were so blessed
to have it up
there. Yeah. How was that?
That was fantastic. We had Mamie Paris on board playing Molly Sweeney. We had Jim Stanek with us.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, it was a wonderful experience. We learned a lot. And now we're gonna change the things that we feel need to be changed, and then continue to push it along.
Well, good luck. I look forward to seeing that one as well.
As do I.
So tell me, I said actor, composer, lyricist. Sure. So what are you doing with the performer kind of hat on?
Well, I am trying to make a buck, like most actors tend to do.
You have some Broadway stuff on your resume?
I do, yeah. I did the most recent revival of Cabaret. We had quite a starry cast for that.
Yeah.
We had a wonderful time, and just such an iconic piece. And being able to look at that through a writer's lens, I mean, Candor and Ebb. And so to be able to play that score as well, because we were the orchestra as well, just like as a writer, to me, that was so invaluable to be able to be part of it as an actor and to like flip-flop between the two, you know, in my brain.
Yeah, I think it's always fascinating when the musicians are actually visible on stage, and then when they cross over and become actors as well, it lends a whole other layer for the audience to experience. And that show, I mean, it's the perfect example to me of when the book is as strong as the music, what you can really achieve in the musical world. It's fantastic.
Showmaster off. He would come almost every week and just sit there, 93 years old, and watch the show.
Really?
I can only imagine what that would be like, to see it through so many incarnations. And speaking of relevancy, I mean, that piece is just as relevant today as well.
You don't want it to be, but it absolutely is.
To turn up and turn up.
That's for sure. I know. Your role in that, though, really interesting.
Yeah.
Is it half swing? Is that
right?
Well,
we were labeled as partial swings because we were all the instrumentalists as well. We would all be part of the orchestra every night. And then when you were swinging on for the different roles, when this song where you normally play the banjo, you would set the banjo down, come down the stairs, do whatever part you were in for, and in the same way that the ensemble worked, and then come back up. So we were part of it every night, but then it would change every night depending on who we were in for and who was out of the show that night. It was a big puzzle.
I bet. How long were you with the production?
I did the whole thing.
You did? Really?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that must have been incredible.
It was. It was quite the experience.
Wow, congratulations.
Thank you.
So, any bartending experience? I couldn't imagine you would have had time doing it with everything.
I mean, there was a time before all of that, you know.
Tell me about that, by the way, before I throw you back here. How did you get into this whole, I mean, actor, composer, lyricist, all these wonderful projects. How does this all come about? I mean, this is like people, you know, this is people's dreams to be working on this kind of thing.
I mean, I always enjoyed music. And then I found the community theater in my hometown and saw how like musical theater like worked and fell in love with that and found like a home and a place to belong. And so when I graduated from high school, I couldn't decide if I wanted to be a music teacher, if I wanted to be an actor. So I started college as a music teacher for 2 weeks and then said no thanks. And then I went the other route. So even though I was in school and doing acting in shows, I was also still in the orchestra and in the wind ensemble and everything. So I kept those skills sharp as well. And so when I moved here, I hit the ground as an actor. And then as things progressed, I just saw things being produced and said, hey, I can maybe do that. Someone's got to write it, you know, like it can be me. So I kind of put my musical brain to use with that and tried to get sharper and sharper as you do.
That's fantastic. What's your primary instrument?
Well, I mean, I play the piano. Through college, I studied bassoon. And then
that's amazing.
Via Cabaret,
That's great.
I learned to play the banjo because we needed a banjo player. And why not learn how to play it on someone else's dime?
Of course.
Banjo, bassoon, piano, to answer the question, I guess.
How long have you been playing the piano?
Since I was 10, 11, maybe.
That's in your soul, man.
Yeah,
That's what you do.
Yeah,
and then singer also, I'm sure, right?
Oh, yeah.
Fantastic. Okay, so, want to make a drink?
Yeah, let's do it. Can I finish this one first?
You don't have to finish it, but you can certainly have a little bit more of it. Yeah, absolutely.
3, 2, 1.
You're going to beat me. I'm not a good chugger.
We'll call it
nicely done.
Dead.
So, this drink is an homage to your second piece that you're working on. But I didn't realize that you had moved it to New England. So I called it a Dubliner. Actually, I didn't call it. It's a drink. It's called a Dubliner.
Okay, great.
And it's a version of a Manhattan made with Irish whiskey.
Great.
Want to give it a try?
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah. So you never answered my question. Have you bartended before? Are you a ringer?
Oh yeah. I mean,
so this is gonna be easy for you.
You know.
So you know how to make Manhattans.
Well, sometimes you just say you know how to do things
and
to
then
get the
you
job,
do
and then
right,
you keep
exactly.
the iPhone under the counter and.
All right. So why don't you step back here and I'll talk you through it. Okay, so you have a mixing tin right there. I want you to fill it about halfway with ice.
All right.
And you should have an ice scoop in the well. So a traditional Manhattan is made with rye whiskey, sweet vermouth.
Okay.
It's usually stirred and then topped with a couple dashes of bitters and some maraschino cherries.
All right.
But this is we're going to make with Irish whiskey.
Great.
So in the speed rail there, you have a bottle of Irish whiskey. Perfect. And you're going to do 2 ounces per drink.
Okay.
And that's going to be an 8 count.
All right.
So you're going to count to 8. It's going to take a little while. Yeah, go for it.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Perfect. And then we're going to use some sweet vermouth.
Got it.
We have some Antica Formula sweet vermouth. And we just want a 1/2 ounce per drink.
Okay.
So that's going to be a 2 count.
Great. A 1 and a 2.
Fabulous. And then there should be a bar spoon right over there. And I want you to just kind of stir that up really, really well. Yeah, look at you with this. You know what you're doing.
Oh, this part I know. That's the ingredients.
Great, great, great. Now there's one other ingredient in this drink that's not in a traditional Manhattan. It's Grand Marnier, which is orange cognac. So there should be a bottle of Grand Marnier down there. And I want you to just do about another 1 count of Grand Marnier into the tin.
Are we done stirring?
Yeah, you can just put it in now and then start up a little bit more to get that Grand Marnier in there.
A 1 count.
Great.
And another spin.
Get that in there. Fabulous. And then we have a strainer right over there, and you can strain that into our cocktail glasses. Oh man, you're making my life really, really easy, Caleb. Look at you.
I'll light it on fire too.
I bet you will. And write a soundtrack for it.
Right?
Look at these pores. All right.
Make it frothy on the top.
Yeah, this was not fixed in post, by the way. He
no,
just
this
did
is
that.
it. This is it.
Nicely done. How about a cherry in each one?
To hit it.
And that is our
That is
Dubliner. Thank you, man. It's gorgeous. You
Cheers,
come back
my
anytime
friend.
you want. Cheers. Oh, that's nice. And this is Teeling Irish whiskey. It's one of my favorites.
Wonderful. They do okay?
Yeah, you know what we forgot though? This is my bad. We forgot the bitters. Yeah, I want you to do a dash of bitters in there.
Just on
I was
the top?
just so blown away by your whole technique.
good?
That's it, yeah. Yeah. And that goes really well. We're using orange bitters to go with the Grand Marnier.
Oh, nice.
Orange liqueur, and let's see what that did.
Well, let's give it a second cheers and a second sip.
See, and that you get right on the nose, right? That orange bitters,
That's wonderful. Whew. That'll knock you down.
Oh, that's lovely. I think I found a new bartender.
Hey.
Dude, thank
Happy
you
to be here.
so much, man. That's awesome. Okay, so how do people find out about you and all these great projects?
Oh my
Website,
goodness.
social media, what?
At Damn Caleb, Caleb Damschroder. I used to be at Caleb Dam, but then when I joined Twitter, a 13-year-old in Florida had it, so we changed it to at Damn Caleb. So follow me there, and I'll be able to make announcements and things on there on Instagram
love it,
and
man.
Twitter.
Good luck with everything. Dying to see both those productions. I mean, they both sound really, really great. I appreciate it. Folks, again, as always, you can check us out on BroadwayBartender.com for recipes and links. Thanks for joining us. Drink well, drink responsibly.
Cheers.
Cheers. This is good. While you're enjoying your cocktails, we have Caleb Damschroder performing Fly Away from his original musical, Devil's Kin.
Fly away, fly away, get as far as you can go from here. Fly away, fly away, you must take that child and disappear. Down the road and through the valley, from the only home you know. Spread your wings and fly away, Rosanna, you must go. Fly away, there are things that I can't let you face. Go on and fly away, your precious girl must never know this place. Through the trees and from this mountain, find a land where you can learn. But fly away, my angel, fly
I'll be there inside your heart, but you must go and fly away, though it's tearing me apart. You must finish what you began, Rosanna. Oh, Rosanna, my Rosanna, you must fly because you can.
That was Caleb Damschroder performing his original song, Fly Away, from the musical he wrote, the music and lyrics to Devil's Kin, right here on Broadway Bartender.
It's called Fly Away. The matriarch of the McCoy family, Sarah McCoy, sings it. Spoiler alert, some people die in this musical. And a big battle has happened between the two families, and Sarah has lost some of her sons. And Rosanna has just had this baby, this Hatfield baby, and Sarah is seeing herself in Rosanna and seeing that this cycle will never end. This cycle will always continue. Rosanna will be growing up in the same way Sarah did. Rosanna will have children that die if this feud continues. So Sarah makes quite a sacrifice and tells Rosanna, like, get out of here, like, go on.
Okay, I'm excited. This literally touches on like all the things we talked about how this perpetuates through the generations.
Right. Yeah.
Awesome, man. All right, let's do it.